broadcast coming from Hamilton, Ontario to you through your electronic listening device, tucked under the mountain in the deep, dark corners of the greatest rock and roll city in the world, Hamilton, Ontario. It's not a dirty little secret anymore. What's coming out of here is as bright and shiny as the birth of Christ. I would have to say that is an understatement, wouldn't you, Ryan?
Yeah, that's definitely an I don't know how you could overstate over that.
You know, I'm sorry. I'll take on Cleveland and New York and Berlin. Berlin's happening, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not as much as it used to be,
Fuck
but
that shit. But no, there's wonderful music coming out of Hamilton, Ontario, and it's coming kind of from all angles and all places. And tonight we got a bunch of guys that you introduced me to.
Yep.
You said you were doing some video work with these guys, and implored me a couple times after a show to go down and see them live. And you know, although I don't necessarily like to frequent the street that they were playing on at that time because I don't fit the demographic so much anymore down there, the performance was every bit as good as you said it would be.
Yeah.
And
I don't lie.
You don't lie.
I don't fuck
you know
around.
your stuff, Ryan. Knows his stuff. So we've got Sebastian Paige and the Virginia Wolves in the studio, or at least 3/4 of them. And I'd like to introduce you to them. We got Sebastian, we got Adam Cannon, and Mike Manson.
Monson.
It's Monson.
But he is a man's son.
No, I was like,
Who isn't?
I drew a backwards swastika here, so I was sure it was Manson. What the fuck is up with? Oh, you can swear, by the way.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
I actually have makeup on my head. I gotta wipe it off.
We talked about Berlin being a happening city already. So.
Yeah, you know, it's rocking and rolling world over. And right now, this is being broadcast live around the world, and we can say that.
Cheers, Berlin.
To technology. And,
Right on.
You know, Ryan, tell me about how you know, you've worked with these guys. You showed me some of the pictures. An incredible gig you guys just did. You might want to touch on, but you know, usually we talk about you know, when you first fell in love with music, if you came from a musical family, if it was by accident, and then how you guys hooked up. So I don't know, Sebastian, why don't you kick it off? How did music kind of kick your ass first?
16, started singing, playing in bands, stuff like that. But I always liked music. Felt like when I sing, people see me better, or they don't misunderstand me. And then once I start opening my big mouth and talking, it just all goes to hell. So.
Did you do any talent contests in school and things like that?
No, man. Actually, I didn't sing really at all live until 16, and all of a sudden I just started it, and then
16.
Yeah, that's pretty late because you've got a great range. You sing with great confidence. It seems like you would be classically trained, and by that I mean your parents, paid to send you someone who can teach you the basics. But
oh yeah, they did. Yeah,
we got really hammered one night in London, and some guy we got Josh super tequila'd up and everything, and
fuck, so tequila.
we made him go sing "Oh Darling" up on stage for karaoke.
Nice.
And some guy comes up to him afterwards, like, "Man, I'm putting on a production of Jesus Christ Superstar. I'd really like you to be in it."
I'm your man.
He took his card, actually, too. He took a card. You should have brought it and gave him a shout out.
I know. Wonder who that guy is. What he's doing today.
Wonder how the play went.
Yeah. Well, it would have been better with this motherfucker. That's all.
Thank you.
It's as clear as it is. So 16, you're singing. You're a band came along or asked you to play, or you started a band, or
my next door neighbor, he asked me to play, and it was just I don't know, it was like a mess.
Bad forum letter.
It was a mess.
Who's your next door neighbor?
A guy named John Paul,
oh.
and he was putting on a band with a guy named Colby Walker and Daniele Valentini, and they were all just non-players really who just wanted. We had this contest at school, and it wasn't really a contest, just a show. And there was another band playing at that time called High Voltage, and then I just after I saw them, I was like, yeah, you should let me sing for you. And
and he worked his magic.
So you got to do the sales job. You do. So many times people go in,
and he's in advertising now.
Yeah, you don't sell sitting at the back row. You got to push your way right up front.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so you start being young. There's a lot of challenges of getting places to play, right?
Yeah, actually, at that time though, it was a great scene because us, Porcelain Youth, and a band called 40 Sons of Daughters, and a band called Sauce Rocket, we'd all just play these like every 2 months these shows at the Underground on, what is that, King William?
Yeah.
King William and Catherine.
Yeah.
That's right.
And that place used to just get rammed.
It's
And-
still open, I think.
Yeah, it's
it's-
different thing now. though.
Yeah, I've heard that it just needs a kind of total
Yeah.
a new direction. Gordon Ramsay with a flamethrower, but I would love to see it go back to its former glory.
I know, man. That was like the cavern for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that
It
was
was
just
the
like
cavern for like Hamilton.
That was my first
Yeah.
my first ever show. I played there.
yeah.
Actually,
Me too.
I never like seen a concert like with a band until I played one.
There.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
there.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those places, you know, the walls would be sweating and like, you
The
know.
washrooms are cool. Remember the washrooms with all the crazy? There's cut up all crazy pictures and ads, kind of like Exile on Main Street.
I remember fucking doing this in the bathroom.
I remember you constantly shirtless with 2 nipple rings.
That one got ripped out. Fuck, don't ask me where it is. Sitting with Jesus Christ Superstar guy.
There you go. So between that period of time and when you started hooking up with these guys, how much time transpired, and what I'm going to ask the same question to Adam and Mike. So at this point in time, have you met each other at all at this point?
I met Adam and I met Pete. Me and Pete like hardly really met each other. It was just like, hey, you're in a good band. Hey, you're in a good band. And then that was pretty much it. Me and Adam talked a little bit more. I remember us having this like really intense conversation about what defined selling out on MSN Instant Messenger. And he was sending me Tool videos, and at that time I didn't like Tool, so I'm like, what the hell is this band? Like, why are their eyes like tentacle fucking people in their
I wasn't like too old.
Come on now. Yeah, I'm a tool.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in the tool shed. I don't know.
So I don't know. Me and Adam,
How they call it?
I don't know. It was just like, yeah, like Josh said, like we just had like this great little scene going on in like our high school. Like I went to Sherwood and Josh went to BR.
what were
and
the other schools involved in that?
that was it, pretty much.
Pretty much that,
all the bands came from these two kind of schools on the East Mountain, like East End or whatever. And yeah, man, I just met him there, and we played all these awesome shows together, and like really had some unbelievable times. And our bands actually got like some success, like for being super young, and like you mentioned that earlier. You know, I remember sitting outside the Bovine Sex Club in Toronto and like not being allowed to go in
Yeah.
before playing and stuff. You know?
Man, Daryl used to
that's
make us
crazy.
always wait
Yeah.
in the Shanghai Cowgirl.
Yeah, some silver chair stuff right there.
I know, that's totally
That's cool.
totally Silverchair. I don't know, being and like we were a 3-piece too, so we got linked in with that a
Yeah,
lot.
similar.
But I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know. We just met that way, and then like I remember jamming with you and Sean and stuff like that a few times, and
Yeah.
then with
Actually,
Mike.
'cause for a while I wanted Adam to join my band.
Yeah, but in between that time, I met this guy Mike at some chicks going away party
Yeah,
at the
raging
end.
party.
At
And
the
he
end.
was Magic Mike. that night,
Magic
right?
Mike.
That's a funny story though. It's pretty cool.
He was in a thong. And
Well, it was like a-
completely nude.
There's no time limit on the show, so
It was-
make with the story.
yeah.
Adam can tell it better than me.
Well, yeah, it was just like I don't know, it was pretty lame. Like I don't know, lots of like Gino sort of like atmosphere going on. Fucking Catholic, fucking rebuff. And I don't know. I just heard some dude playing Hendrix on an acoustic guitar up by the barbecue there, and I just was just like, oh, I'm gonna go hang out over there. And then I met
It's crazy.
Money
I don't know
Monson.
How long ago that was? It's wild.
Yeah, I know. So and then like
Then we got hammered and sang and played Beatles songs all night long with two.
Yeah.
You had a bongo drum or something.
no, it was the one guitar that was messed up, and
Yeah.
and like we just used it as
That's
a drum. But then I kept running into him like randomly, like in like music stores and like just on the street and shit. And then one day I don't know, I just said come over and jam one time because he was a good guitar player and whatnot. And he's like, I got into this crazy program out in Fanshawe, at Fanshawe College in London. And I'm like, no way, I got in the same program. And he's like, hey, you want to be my roommate?
It's all a bit creepy. Really.
Well, I was moving out to London by myself, so I was actually in the process of looking for.
What are the
roommate.
chances of that?
I know.
That's
and
incredible.
And
Yeah, that's
Peter
really
got
fucked
accepted
up.
too. So it's
Yeah, our bass
strange.
player got accepted to that too. So
Basically, I'm the only one who was not accepted.
Yeah, that was unacceptable. That's it. You're out. Oh wait, you're in.
and then Adam invited me over to meet Peter, and it was hilarious. Pete had long ass hair at the time.
Freaky.
Yeah.
And it was like
The freaky Greek.
First time meeting Pete, and we were just kind of shooting the shit, and then a couple of months later, we were living together.
Yeah, it was really fucked up, actually. And then, yeah, Josh, like, was in this really, like, awesome, successful band for, like, being so young and from here called Dean Liqueur for a while, right? And, I don't know, you got to open up for BJ at fucking Air Canada Center.
Yeah. Hey, you get to play the big stage. It's nice. You know?
I hate him.
Yeah.
Hate big
But he
stages.
does. Yeah, really. You like the tiny, intimate gig?
Seriously, the best gigs are like theater-sized places.
Yeah,
Like
soft
the
theater.
Metropolis in Montreal is the best place you'll ever play in your life.
Yeah?
That, like, the people there are so, like, wild and friendly. And
Montreal rocks. Yeah.
Montreal is the best.
It's a wonderful city. isn't
Montreal
it?
is the best party you'll ever have in Canada.
Yeah.
Another
sure.
good place is the Commodore in Vancouver.
Yeah.
And one of the worst places you'll play is anywhere in Toronto.
Yeah, there's a lot of bands in Toronto, but none of them are from Toronto. After a while, you realize it's like everyone comes to Toronto expecting it to happen.
Toronto's got a lot of judgment to
Northern
them.
Ontario come
Yeah.
down, you know.
Yeah.
I find Toronto crowds are
out
weird,
east.
though. You know what I mean? They just stand there and kind of judge you.
They're judgy, man. They're judgy.
But I also found that, like, I see even street guys will pay the $5 cover without blinking. Where in Hamilton, you better be the fucking Stones for 10.
Yeah.
You know, so for
Oh, that's
$5,
true.
you got to be, you know, it's a real like $2 or whatever. You know, it's like people just get their nose out of joint. But I remember on Queen Street when there's tons of different music, it was like people had no problem paying a
Wow.
cover, which they shouldn't, right? The
Yeah.
price of a beer, like seriously, to go see live music.
I know.
and
Like, how
be
much are you going to spend
entertained.
drinking
Yeah.
that night?
Things are different though today, and like, have you ever read Neil Young's like memoir, "Waging Heavy Peace"? He puts it really well when he talks about like how much information goes into recordings these days. He's trying to do this like new thing called Pure Tone, which has like 100% of the original mastered like information in it. It's got like I don't know 200 freaking kilobytes in it, and then you've got records which hold like a lot of an analog wave. I don't know, like what 70% or something. Like they really hold like the information well. And then you go to like MP3s, which are like 3% of the original production.
Oh, I know. I was telling some guy that I work with about that the other day. Like, you know, listen to like an MP3, and I'm trying to explain to him it's so compressed and like, you know what I mean? And then listen to like.
Yeah, you lose a lot of.
There's something that's it's like
A lot of people don't know or give a shit though.
Yeah.
What
right?
I'm just saying
It's
though
intangible.
is it's like when you reduce music to like such a like a really easy commodity, like almost like
Zeros and ones.
something you could buy at a dollar store or something like that. People aren't gonna want to pay that much
Yeah.
for it because it's not like the same thing it used to be.
Flea from Chili Peppers had a really good analogy about it. He's like downloading an MP3 of a song or an album is like getting an 8x12 print of like a Da Vinci or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's true.
And unfortunately,
Yeah.
society's got to the point where that's good enough.
Yeah.
But I think when people are exposed to live music, which you got to think, there's very few places that offer it. There's very few people who seek it out. In the general terms, hardly any. And the concerts that we used to be able to go to for $15 or $20 or $50 or $80 are now $300. So
Yeah, it's
it
crazy.
seems
the
like
Stones.
fewer and fewer
Yeah.
people get a chance to see live music. And excuse me, but when you see live music, it really opens your eyes. Where it's like eating real food for the first time. You talk to most people, you say, "What's your favorite restaurant?" They will say Red Lobster, or they will say McDonald's, because perhaps that really is the only restaurant they've been to, other than the one in the
then-
corner.
yeah.
And it's like once you expose them to, you know, the food on James Street or the food, you know, on Cannon. You know, have you ever had Vietnamese noodle soup? And it's
Yeah.
the same thing with live music. And you guys, and I want to touch on this. You cover a lot of songs, and you do a really nice deep layering, and you seem to have an understanding and respect for the music. Like, where did that come from? Like Adam, as a guitar player, did you have your own influences?
Well,
and then backlash.
Guitar player, did you have your own influences?
Did you?
I'm the drummer, man. I fucking hit things.
He's not a guitar. He's not a musician. He's a drummer.
Yeah.
Does it really matter? Does it really matter?
They got things that can do my job in a fucking little box like this now.
No. and our three highest rated shows were all drummers. It's really interesting. Like Jack Pedler, Steve Nagus, and
Steve Sinix.
He was a great drummer. He's a singer-songwriter too. But
Yeah.
really interesting cats, and you start to understand how it really is the foundation of the band.
Well, yeah, it's like, I don't know, we have a lot of analogies in this band. I don't know why, but we just do. But
We should have called ourselves the fucking analogy.
but it's like you don't notice like a good foundation of a house, but you know, even Ryan and I were talking about that at the last gig. It's just like, you know, a lot of people that come to see us play, like, you know, when Josh does his like big thing in Oh Darling or, you know, something like that, right? It's just like those are, you feel that being like the show-stopping moment, but you know that like
If the drummer doesn't come in on time, it's fucked.
yeah, and the same thing with the bass and even the guitar too. It's like you got to have that sort of like foundation of like what is cool and what is gonna make the room move and feel a certain way. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just moving the energy. I don't know, and it's like. But, you know, like, I listen to guys like Danny Carey from Tool growing up and, like, Bonham and all, like, the drum heroes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, like, you know, I remember my first job was, like, standing outside of Little Caesars with the sign.
Right. But you did it with style, right? You must have been
He was doing polyrhythms.
the big cans.
Just like,
The big cans.
just like the old Discman just on repeat, man. Fuck.
Fuck, that was,
That's why I got
that'd be
fired.
good.
I guess being high had something to do with that, too. I don't know.
Maybe you could do that for a video, like as the back, you know.
Yeah.
Seriously, get a job. Like, how cheap is this, right? You take the job for a day before you quit, and Ryan will shoot the video. You doing that shit.
That's
Do
awesome.
that for your videos. That's
I think
golden.
Pete already did a video where he was dancing around like a chicken.
Well, Pete did that? Yeah, fuck. Well, yeah, and so I don't know, man. It's just like as you grow, I think like for us at least, like I listen a lot more now too. Like before, like I was just trying to get all like the
numbers
shredding
right.
and the numbers right. But now it's like, you know, if Mike's playing a solo or something, that's where my ear's going, and I don't really think about what I'm playing. You know, I'm just like. So I don't know. It just happens because
Well,
it's
Mike,
supposed to.
as a drummer, when you like we're gonna play Hendrix, and Little Wing is a great song that a lot of bands do wrong. You know, a lot of bands do wrong. You know, and it's like, and I like a bad version as much as the next person. I'm not a snob by any means, but to do it and take it on where you have like a fan, like a disciple early of Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, it was like my big thing was Jimmy. It was like Jimmy over Jesus.
That was a disputed. What was that? A split decision in the fifth? Was that right?
It went all the way to the 12th round. I'm pretty sure.
It went the distance.
It was a submission hold, but
Yeah.
No, I was totally like I taught myself how to play, but all I did was just listen to Hendrix records and stuff in my room when I was in elementary school.
ever take a lesson? Your theory guy at all?
Actually, I went to Mohawk for jazz after like in high school. I kind of decided I wanted to do music for like my living, so I went there for prep, and then I had to take lessons in order to get in.
Yeah,
I needed to learn like some theory and stuff. I took it in high school too, but it was all like rock and roll.
Yeah, I've heard like guys like Mike, like Tim Gibbons said this about Mike Williams. Like Mike took and he said it wrecked him, and by that it means it made him way better. But he liked like what they were doing and what he knew.
You mean Mohawk?
Did you find that like as far as you have your own style, and I hear this about singing too, right? It's like you sing in a style, a technique that may not be the best, especially for the long haul, and then you learn a technique, and that's better for you. But when you took
I took like jazz guitar performance there, but like honestly, I feel like it was more of like a detriment to my style than anything. Like it increased my knowledge and education of music, which is like great for like writing and arranging and all that stuff. But like just like the raw energy, it kind of like depleted that a little bit because I was taught these boxes that this was the way that it happens, you know. Yeah. And I listen to recordings when I'm like 16, and I'm like I blow myself away kind of because it's like
I
couldn't do that now, you know. It's like why? It's because didn't make logical sense like musically, right?
Yeah.
But so that kind of pisses me off.
Embracing, that's true though. I'm so glad you touched on that because embracing ignorance is like really kind of important. That ugly little the thing that isn't perfect is what attracts people. You know, there has to be. It can't be hideous. It can't be a train wreck. But you know, there has to be some character to it, right?
And it was a little bit more natural too, right? Because it's like I didn't know like what note I was playing, but I didn't care, right? It's like I didn't really give a shit. It was just I was gonna do it, you know. But now it's like now that I know what's going on, it's like you're a little bit more like precautious or something like that.
Yeah, you know, you kind of second guess yourself sometimes.
Yeah, or it's like if I'm going to jam a groove, it's like I'll kind of pick a conventional convention. You know what I mean? And I hate that
because you're walking that fine line between respecting the song that you're doing and putting your stamp on it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a really fine line. And Ryan, I think we should spin one, and then we can use it as a reference point. But talked about this. This is Little Wing, Jimi Hendrix classic, done by the Virginia Wolves, and we got them here at the Barber Shop. Yeah.
She's walking through the clouds with a circus mind that's running round. Butterflies, zebras, and moonbeams, and fairy tales. That's all she ever thinks about. Riding with the wind. She comes to me, yeah. With 1,000 smiles, she gives to me free. It's alright, she says. Oh, it's alright. Take anything you want from me, yeah. Anything and
So, good music leads to good times. You got to have some good time stories, okay? So you guys hooked up when and where? Go.
At a Freedom Train.
Freedom Train.
Sorry, actually,
The Jennings.
But you guys can tell it.
At a Freedom Train gig.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You know?
Yeah. So you tell us.
No, they're different memories. This is the best part. All right.
Because he was only half drunk and I was fully in the bag.
What, me?
Yeah, I don't know. I was fucking bastard.
Oh yeah, I don't know. It was just at a Freedom Train gig at Stonewalls, and I just asked this guy. I was just like, "Yeah, man, let's start a fucking."
You didn't ask. I walked up to you, fucking plastered up tequila, and went, "Man, if you ever need a singer, you have to call."
So yeah, fuck. There goes my brain cells. I don't know.
No, that's good. So you've got your story together, right?
I guess
Yeah.
that sounds more like it.
And Mike, what's your memory?
I can't remember how actually.
I woke up one
I think my
day.
gear was at Adam's house.
Yeah.
That's how
I was in a band.
Yeah.
I looked up, and there it was. There it was.
We were just around Mike's bed one day. It was just like handing him the guitar.
So, when you guys, during school or after school, you know, at what point did you say, you know what, this is like something that, you know, I'm obviously going to school for, I'm taking it seriously. This is what I want to do. How have you kind of embraced going from it being, you know, a guilty pleasure to being what you do?
Yeah, we make some good money.
Yeah, like it's a solid like part-time gig that we got,
Yeah.
especially with like the cover thing, like in doing private shows and weddings and all that.
Yeah.
It's
And
lovely.
do not underestimate. I mean, there's wet Italian wedding bands. The guy's been playing the same 35 songs for 35 years. And
Yeah.
and he did. That's a great part-time gig, and that pays for his basement studio.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
pays for him to do what he wants to do on his schedule, right?
Exactly. Anybody can make it happen.
It's a beautiful thing, right?
I don't think that's who we are, though. Like, I think, like, you know, every show, like, we want to try and make it a little bit different. You know what I mean? Whether it's new songs or like
Oh, absolutely.
taking it somewhere else. You know?
Yeah,
Like
I'm saying that's the far end.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. You know,
It's like-
wedding singer. type
Yeah,
of
I
deal.
mean,
Yeah.
it's like there are people that's like that's all they do, right? But I'm saying for you to say, okay, I have to make this because it's a big part, right? If I'm doing a band, I'm looking at marketing. How does this survive? How does this go forward? It's all pie in the sky, and everyone can have a fucking band, and it's all jerking off unless you're making money or you're going forward and you're serious about it, right? And then I like that what I see with you guys that you're like, okay, you know, this is what I'm doing, but you're doing it. You know, it's so easy to fall into a trap of what's a quote unquote cover band and how to transcend that. Like, is it just natural that you guys play together with passion and there's a connection, and so you don't have to think about not sounding cliche or not sounding too much like the shtick? Or
For sure, I think it's a combination of like the energy, I guess, that each of us as an individual bring to the table, as well as like just solid work ethic amongst us. You know what I mean? So it's like everybody's committed, everybody knows what they got their job to do, and like everybody tries to do it their best.
Yeah.
Every night that we're playing or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, it's kind of like we all kind of know that about each other now. Like when Mike does like something funny, like he'll play like a weird lick or something like that. Like we all kind of know like when those sort of comical moments are gonna happen on stage, you know. But it's like it's awesome because like, you know, it's like we're a team.
The crowd,
you know? Yeah.
it's like that energy transmits to the audience a bit. You know what I mean? And sometimes like that'll get people going. You know, if you just kind of
You
stand
feel the
there and
jump.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, and I don't know. It's just like the tunes that we play to. Like, if there's like 100 beautiful women dancing there, it's like, who cares if we're playing covers? Like, we're playing music, we're getting paid, we're having an amazing time.
Note at that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not allowed though. I gotta keep it going. Gotta keep the train rolling.
It's like there's absolutely nothing wrong, and this is what I think. Like the Who, the Stones, you know, like when Ryan and I were in a band, we absolutely, you know, it's like we would play 3 sets, but it was like if we got a tune, it's like, okay, now we have a place we can slip it in because we've already established that, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like you're bringing the live music experience. This is what's so important. It's like you're actually on a street that used to be famous for live music. Guys like you can go in there and sell it. You can get a crowd of people excited about it.
Yeah.
Who maybe like who've only heard electronic music and have only really been to dance music, right?
I know there's been like some people that are like, I wouldn't expect to be at our shows that are liking it. You
Exactly, yeah. Like some people that I know that are like big hip hop guys or big
Yeah.
big electronic music guys, they still love it and will stay till right to the end. You know what I mean? It's kind of crazy actually how that would affect them in such a positive way. It's great.
Yeah, man. And I'm like, there's a reason like we're more in the classic rock sort of like R&B funk sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
Like we do have like the newer tunes that we play, but you know, I think like it's just the quality of the songs that are sort of like stand the test of time. Plus, if you do put that passion and everything,
Yeah.
you know.
The reason why people from any walk of life can come to our show and have a good time and meet all different people and be friends is because we're friends.
Yeah.
It's a big difference when you play with people that like you actually like love.
Very well put. Very well put. And you can tell a gun for hire versus, you know, guys who actually are brothers, you know. So I want you to share that a little bit with us. We want to do something that I love to play, a little bit of live music in the studio. It was for a long time a regular feature at the Barber shop, and then we had a bunch of shows where people just had CDs, and then we've had a combination lately. But you know, you guys were just warming up earlier. You sounded great. So you're going to do Valerie.
Yeah, it's a Zootin song, but I guess Amy Winehouse made it famous.
I sing it like Amy. They play it like Zootons. It all works.
So
She
it's
died at
perfect.
27. It's legit.
Right, I'm just gonna use the AKG over here, mate.
Oh, for the guitar?
Is that okay?
Yeah, you can just move it down. Yeah.
The Rhodes is hitting the guitar.
Yeah, I'll mix them in.
We got to make sure that's a 3-to-1 ratio.
Absolutely.
It's a bad.
Yeah.
Where's the measuring tape?
Super nerd.
Engineer by
Had to do
trade.
that.
Yeah, I'm staying out of this.
Yeah, we're a little less Sound City, a little bit more like
Sin
Wayne's
City.
World. Yeah.
All right, boys, whenever you're ready.
Well, sometimes I go out by myself and look across the water. And I think of all the things what you're doing, and in my head I paint a picture. Well, since I come home, well, my body's been a mess, and I miss your ginger hair and the way you like to dress. Won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over, Valerie? Valerie, did you have to go to jail? Put your house on up for sale. Did you get a good lawyer? Hope you didn't get your tan. Hope you find the right man who'll fix it for you. And now you're shopping anywhere. Change the color of your hair. Are you busy? Hope you didn't pay the fine, but you were dodging all the time. You still dizzy? Since I come home, my body's been a mess. I miss your ginger hair, the way you like to dress. Won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Won't you come on over, Valerie? Valerie, Valerie, well, sometimes I go out by myself, look across the water. I think of all the things what you're doing, and in my head I paint a picture. Well, since I come home, my body's been a mess. I miss your ginger hair, the way you like to dress. Yeah. Come on over, stop making a fool out of me. Won't you come on over, Valerie? Valerie, 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 why don't you come on over, Valerie?
Picked it up, grab borrowed instruments and play it like you owned it. I love it. I love it. You must have had a lot of good times knowing each other for so long, playing, maybe probably so many occasions like that where you either hook up with other musicians or late night house parties where you really kind of get that jam going on.
Yeah, the house party is a great training session.
Yeah, I think we actually did that tune at a house party at one of Anita's going away parties. I think we did that tune for a bunch of people in a room where there was wine and cheese.
Oh, yeah, like
Remember that? Remember the wine and cheese?
I think I just had an acid flashback.
And don't forget about the olives, man.
cheese is a drug. You know? Don't fool yourself.
With the fromage.
Man, like, yeah, no, it's funny, right? Because like we've been really lucky, man, to like play some pretty unbelievable places. Like,
Yeah, so tell me about the gig you did on the weekend, okay? Like, I heard a snippet. But, like, tell me about you played a mansion. And the guy probably has a yacht, too, right?
We did a birthday party at a mansion in Ancaster. It was awesome, man. We set up in this like 2-story living room, like hardwood and marble floors. It was pretty wild.
yeah, it was like dream sequence stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
That was cool.
guys like us shouldn't be in a place like that. But
Fuck that.
but we're playing.
Who else is gonna come on?
Well, you know, I don't know. Now we're playing. We're playing.
Ryan said he had a few pops. He said he was a little bit rolly that night.
Free brews and an Irishman go well
Ryan and
together.
I are sharing some 40 Creek on the fucking track home.
In the McDonald's.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still pick up a subwoofer at the end of the night.
You're okay in our books.
I don't remember loading the van. But
I don't either.
Man, you loaded the whole thing.
you made me do that. Oh, nice.
One-handed.
It was worth it. I got fed well. I'm good.
He told me about the sliders. Fucking lobster and was a prime rib.
Lobster and prime
fuck
rib.
off.
Yeah,
I was instantly like
the lamb shanks in a
Yeah, he had a picture. He waved it. He knows what gets to me.
I'm only in it for the sliders, man.
Oh fuck.
I do
Yeah,
this
it
for the
was
sliders.
Yeah. How many sliders did you have, Ryan? Be serious.
I had a couple.
They weren't small though. You
That's
think
I don't know how
Yeah,
well
I'm
you
thinking
can see
small,
that,
I know.
but
No, they're heavy.
yeah, there's
You just
your
say
lamb
room for the
chops.
shank, right?
Yeah. I regret not.
Sebastian, did you get your shank? Was it?
Yeah, I had a few shanks.
Did you get to take the bone home? You know, make a shank.
Taking it home for a souvenir after that.
Shanking Rufus. That's a new band name. Can we get that? Shankinrufus.com.
Yeah.
Find it right now.
Yeah.
I'll get right on that.
That.
Yeah, man. So I don't know. It's like we've gone from playing like in a garage, like where people are riding dirt bikes, like
In the garage?
well, like
Any louder?
Fantastic.
Could it be any louder and
That was
lower?
sleuthy. Yeah. I switched the cameras and everything. All right, well, since it's out in the open, somebody want to pass me that lighter that landed on
I think I have 4 of them.
Okay.
I'll just keep
here.
I'll keep throwing.
There you go.
We're good.
Okay.
We're good.
Anyway, sorry, guys.
Oh no, man. It's all good.
I don't know why I'm apologizing. It's his fault.
Yeah. I underthrew.
You're the
but
co-host. You have
with
to,
the
I
bounce-
guess.
With the bounce, he
I
could have
should have
pulled it
reached,
off.
I guess. Yeah.
Could have pulled it off.
But yeah, man. I don't know.
So
like,
yeah, so you sorry, we're babbling, but to get you back to your point, you went from playing like gigs,
yeah,
and corner
like
stores,
you know,
like,
in a garage
things have picked up.
in Brantford to like this crazy mansion. You know, I don't know. It's been good times, man. Like we've had a crazy. We've only really been playing for a year or two,
Yeah.
which is
we've
another thing.
We've got some wedding coming up, and we've got we're actually headlining a festival in Hanover, Ontario, in July.
Cool. What's the festival?
It's called Sights and Sounds.
All right.
Yeah, we just got a random email one day, and they asked us to do that. So it's
Random emails with checks attached.
Yeah.
It's got to be like the best.
Yeah, you can't
Kind of
compare
It's
random
like Christmas
emails.
morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because, you know, music, it makes people feel good. And if you can do that and you're doing a service, like, and it's legal, it's not like prostitution or drug dealing, you know, you're doing it, but you're still producing serotonins.
But there's a lot of both attached to it.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it goes without saying. It goes without saying. Okay, we're having such a good time babbling. I want to get back to more music because this band is so damn musical and these guys are so good. I want to play something out with CD. Tell me a little bit about how it was recorded, where it was recorded.
Which tune are we playing now?
We're going to do Miss You.
Cool, right on. We tracked these at Fanshawe College. We got actually hired by the school to do.
I heard this story. Interesting.
Yeah, we got hired to be the band to be recorded by the students. So we were there for 4 days in the studio,
Yeah.
and we did 6 tracks.
Yeah. We just did them live off the floor too. No click track or
Right.
any of that stuff. And the guy that sort of
The
was,
prof guy.
yeah, the prof who kind of ended up producing it and whatnot to like
Is a Juno-winning engineer.
Yeah.
yeah Dan Broadbeck. He's like the shit, and like you know, really fun to work with, and you know, makes it easy for everyone, and like creative in the mix, like putting the flange on Little Wing and stuff. You know what I mean? Like just like making it like a cool experience for everyone. Just
Did
super
Dan
easy.
do Miss You though? I don't think Miss You was him.
Oh, okay. And Missy was Rob, who's another like heavyweight that owns
Rob Nation.
Emax Studios in London.
Okay.
So
So shout out to Rob.
shout out to Rob,
Rob and Dan.
Rob and Dan.
Playing on this.
Wherever you are, Pete. Your land.
So basically, you were the experimental head in the barbershop training school, and but the results are quite good, and we're going to let you hear them right now on barbershoppodcast.com.
Well, I've been holding out so long. I've been sleeping all alone. Lord, I miss you. I've been hanging on the phone. I've been sleeping all alone. I wanna kiss you But I've been howling in my sleep. You've been starring in my dreams. Lord, I miss you. I've been waiting in the hall. I've been waiting on your call. But when the phone rings, hey, it's just some friends of mine, and they say, hey man, will you come around by 12 o'clock with some Puerto Rican girls and just nod to meet you? We're gonna bring a case of wine. Hell, you know, we gon' fool around like the old days, you know, like we used to. Everybody's waiting so long. Everybody's waiting so long. Oh, won't ya come on, come on. Well, I've been walking in Central Park. I've been singing after dark, and people think I'm crazy. I've been stumbling on my feet, shuffling through the street. The people asking, what's the matter with you, boy? Sometimes I say, to myself. Sometimes I say, well, I guess I'm lying to myself. It's just you and no one else, Lord. You
The Big Finish. You guys are big fans of the Big Finish, obviously, right?
I
Like
guess so.
playing live. No, I'm serious. When you play when everything and you guys are syncing so much that when you either do something that's different than no one planned, but everyone does it at the same time, or you finish with the same kind of. I mean, that's a buzz.
I think it's just because then it won't be a train wreck at the end. We'll just know it's gonna be that.
What we started to do now, where somebody calls out a random number at the end of it.
That's
Pete,
nice.
Pete, our bass player, went down to this crazy bass camp down in Tennessee with Victor Wooten,
Yeah.
crazy renowned bass player. But he said something that they're doing down there is calling out the shots at the end of the song, like three. You know what I mean? Boom, boom. Yeah, exactly. Right. So it's
That was 2.
that was 3.
Boom, boom.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah. That's all you got.
So
Group.
we started doing that now, just out of
To help us count as well. We were not so good at
I have to say, like, if I go see the Eggmen or something like that, I love the saves. Like, guys are such great musicians. They don't really practice. They play a big gig once a year. They know the songs, but he knows it in G and he knows it in A. And,
Wow.
and the saves and who's going to sing it and a lot of this, especially because they do the old Beatles stuff, like the Hamburg kind of bullshit. Not bullshit, but great stuff. And it's like that. Like watching that makes my jaw drop. That's my favorite part, is watching the musicianship of being on stage and making it so even if 3 people in that whole room notice that there was a screw up, they were in love with how you saved it.
sure.
Have you ever been in that situation where it's like just or is it either like on or off?
Nobody ever notices.
Yeah, it's like me and Peter, like if Peter does something different for like one little time, I'll pick up on it and I'll look right at him and we'll just smile, like even if it's not a mistake, it's just something that he tried new, like I picked out just because we played the like similar tunes for.
It's funny though.
a long time, right?
We got the James Brown thing where we don't actually charge each other $5, but anytime
Yeah,
that someone,
scored.
anytime someone fucks up and it's like noticeable to us, we'll just be like, $5.
Yeah. You gotta like that though, and keep it light but keep it serious.
Yeah, man. I mean, whatever. It's just like, oh, I caught you, but whatever. We're a team. You know what I mean?
But
Like,
you want to be on your game. Like I know, it's like it makes you feel, that fine line between being relaxed when you do your best stuff, but paying attention and on top of what you're playing.
well, yeah, and you should suck when you practice, not when you're playing the gig.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know.
Make your mistakes while nobody's looking.
So big influences. Okay, I've had some really interesting conversations with people come in here and ask usually for 2. Give me 2 of the players, and they don't have to be people who were guitar players or singers or drummers, but 2 musicians who really influence what you're doing right now.
Collectively or individually?
Individually.
Go ahead, Josh.
Paul Simon is probably my biggest, and like Van Morrison.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'd say those would be 2 of the greatest, singers and songwriters, and conviction, and uniqueness. Is it something that you picked up from your parents? Did they have a kick-ass record collection?
No, my parents never really had like a lot of records. My mom used to run like the CD player, and all I'd hear was like Celine Dion and Gloria Estefan.
Okay, it's usually one or the other.
It was actually more like my dad just had like his like little corner of CDs on. You remember
It
he
had
used to get
Cool
those like
written on
CD
them.
towers?
Yes.
And he had The Who, Tommy. He had Grace Hits the Guess Who, and he had Led Zeppelin 3. And I remember those
That pretty
being
well
like
does it. Yeah.
no, like, but I remember those 3 being like the first records I got into. Like those were the first things that I'd like when you had like CD like Walkmans, but they're not like like whatever they were.
Discman,
yeah, and
Sony Discman.
yeah, and I just stay up with cheap headphones and just like listen to it all the time, and it was great.
But for me, it was like the Beatles, like in its entirety.
Yeah.
I just, my dad like kind of raised me on that.
And you fall in love with them all at once, but that kind of like back.
It's just
record,
like so like, and the more like that you think about it, and as you grow up, and like, the more and more you appreciate it, it's like, wow, like how crazy was that for like, the whole world? You know what I mean? Like, just the whole mania, and like, they pretty much had culture in the palm of their hand, and we're just like it could have gone either way, right? Like, and they thankfully, you know, stuck to their guns and made awesome music and changed history. You know what I mean? Like, just and for me, like that was like everything. Like, I used to get made fun of like in elementary school because like
you were like a relic, you
all
were
the kids would be like, oh, you know, Eminem and shit. And
Corn.
I like the Beatles, man.
Corn, yeah, that's cool though. It gives me hope. You
Well,
know,
you know.
I got young kids, right?
Yeah.
Like they listen to the stuff I record here. You know, the what does, but it's like I know they also like the crap. You know, the crap sells, and it's kind of like when you grab a hold of something, especially when someone isn't, you know, exposing you to it. There's got to be something inside you that was really, you know.
Yeah, it just means something, you know, and it's like if it can, like, that's like the timeless stuff though, you know what I mean? Like if it grabs, you know, a kid that's just discovering music the first time, or like someone that's, you know, in their 60s that grew up with it, you know what I mean? Like it just means something so much more than like
It's
a
like
flash in the pan.
it's like any art. You might not be able to describe it, especially at that age.
Yeah.
But you know, it's really affected you.
Yeah.
It's done that to you. Okay, Beatles is one. The other
I don't know, like probably like my dad, I'd say. Just
did he hack away at the
kit?
The kit.
Yeah,
And so you had one in the basement that you were allowed to bash. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he played with Tom Wilson in the Florida Razors and stuff like that.
That's right. I met you outside. We used to play the Italian sunglasses
in
in
Capanese.
Yeah, I was one of those.
shit.
Yeah, we would throw weird ones in that no one's ever heard, just to make us giggle, right?
The face.
Yeah, and I forgot. Yeah,
Yeah, man,
I'm 48 now, so I get forgetful.
It's all
but,
good.
But that is, you know, it's nice that you know, you've got an environment where it's encouraged. You know,
That's the thing, right? Like my dad, and that's where we still practice, and like he's totally cool with it, and
sees it as a legitimate, you know, use of time.
yeah,
And he's always got good encouragements right before a gig when we're loading out. He'd be like, you better kick ass.
Don't waste anyone's time.
he's got some good stories too,
Yeah.
like, you know, snow coming through the wall at some hotel in London and stuff like that, and them all like curling in the fucking blankets for heat, and you know, the rust water pouring out the tap and shit, like, you know what I mean? Good road stories and whatnot. Keeps you kind of motivated, I guess.
Somewhat.
Somewhat, yeah. Keep going south somewhere. Mike, you?
Biggest influences?
Yeah.
On my playing, definitely like Hendrix and Frusciante, probably, I would say. When I was younger, Hendrix, and then during my later teens, I was a big Chili Peppers fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I listen to everything. Like I listen to a lot of stuff. Like I listen to a lot of old blues stuff, like Robert Johnson, Howlin' Wolf.
Lead Belly.
Yeah, those are like that's my pride and joy. And,
Yeah.
I listen to lots of old funk, like James Brown and all that stuff.
And what was the steps for you to get, you know, from listening to John Frusciante to get to Lead Belly? Like, was it just you read in an interview that was an influence of his? Because that's what happened to me when I liked Kiss when I was like 12, and they liked Cream, and then I discovered Clapton, and then I discovered Ginger Baker, and I discovered, you know, all through that little thin timeline. It's okay, whatever first band exposes you to that.
Yeah, I think it was just me
vein.
tracing back like my influences, being like, oh, well, I wonder who this guy listened to or whatever. You know what I mean? So like guys like Clapton, Jimmy Page, and all that, obviously, and Richards, they all listened to Johnson and Howlin' Wolf and Willie Dixon and all those guys. So it was just like a natural thing for me to go want to listen to that.
Yeah,
stuff.
there's a fine line with music and ripping off, because I think, you know, I mean, they're legitimately, I've heard some great guys who've like toured and recorded in Canada, and they still have a hard time, you know, considering themselves blues guys, even though that's what they do, because they're white and they're from Alberta, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like they did to kind of, you know, and it's like you have to understand that there's no ripping off. Like music by its nature, you know, it gets passed. And I remember when people were angry, whenever you ask the artist who wrote it, or, you know, with like the Howlin' Wolf sessions, you know, went to the BBC, and how they were treated with such reverence went over there. And that was at a time when America was not respecting, you know, what they had at the time. You know, there's a lot to be said, you know, about, you know, cultures going to be able to do that, you know.
For sure. And actually, there's a really good Wes Montgomery quote that reminds me of. He says in an old book, like from the 70s that I have, it's a sheet music book, Wes Montgomery, jazz player. He said, an artist is only as good an artist is only the sum of his influences.
Yeah.
Which I think is so true, right? It's like everybody's a combination of their
Yes.
influences.
Yeah, and they're channeling and they're
Yeah.
funneling or whatever it is. But I think the people who you assume would be most upset, you know, are funneling Jägermeister,
Funneling Jimi Hendrix
funneling
right
Jimi
now, man. I'm trying
Hendrix
to
right
funnel
now.
Hendrix.
Instead didn't say fisting Hendrix. Oh, right, that's another band name.
Shanking Rufus.
Shanking Rufus with fisting Hendrix tonight only.
Jimmy over Jesus.
Jimmy over Jesus.
All right, I want you guys to do a song live, and this is a song that I've heard you do, and it surprised me when I mentioned that. My goodness, I've heard that song in at least 2 different live talent shows that are very popular on American reality TV. You know, tell me about Ain't No Sunshine and how you became aware of it and you thought that was a song that you guys are built to play.
I don't know, man.
I watched Still Bill, which I would highly recommend. It's an awesome documentary about Bill Withers, and then I kind of just discovered his whole catalog after that.
Right.
But obviously that's a tune that a lot of people know, but we had to do a Bill song.
You had to do Bill's song,
Yeah.
so why not do the one that people are most familiar with?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Totally.
And you know, it seems to be right. It seems to be right in everyone's pocket. Do you enjoy singing it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's just like
It's so
universally
soulful.
good.
Yeah, it is, and really you can't kind of phone this one in. So I'm not gonna put anyone on the spot, but you're gonna play it live because that's what the people who tune in to Barbershop Podcast and our live viewers, and the people who check us out during the week afterwards, listen to on the podcast. This is live music played by people who care about it, and it's coming from you live right now. Bill Withers song, Bill Withers song, "Ain't No Sunshine" with Sebastian Paige and the Virginia Wolves.
Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. It's not warm when she's away. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. She's always gone too long. Anytime she goes away. I wonder this time where she's gone. I wonder if she's gonna stay. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. She's always gone too long. Anytime she goes away. And I know I shouldn't leave my young thing alone, but hey, ain't no sunshine when she's gone. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. See, there's only darkness every day. Well, there ain't no sunshine when she's gone. This house just ain't no home anytime she goes away. Oh, yeah, baby. Mama told me sometimes I was be so lonely. So mama, sunshine when she's gone. So there's only darkness every day. Yeah. Well, there ain't no sunshine when she's gone. This house just ain't no home anytime that she goes away. Anytime she goes away. Anytime she goes away. My baby told me so long. Anytime that she goes away. Oh Lord, yeah, baby.
All right. I had my eyes closed and I was in another world. And I'm you know, as much as sticking to schedules is great, I want you guys to play another song. I want you to come up. Like, you have another song you can play live because we're going to squeeze one more out of you. Okay? And I want you to think about something that you're going to play because your voice is warmed up. The guitar is perfect. The drum, I had my eyes closed. Like, you can't hear it through the mix, but the mix is golden. It sounds so good. So I really want you to do something that maybe you feel like, maybe something that's old, something you haven't played in a while. Surprise us in yourself because trust me, you're your own worst critic. You're fantastic. So anything you're worried about, don't.
Something from the first set.
Maybe Adam wants to play guitar. I don't know. What do you guys want to play?
Let's play freaking.
Let's do Kiss.
Yeah, sure.
Do
All
it.
right, cool.
Do it. You see,
Yeah, that'll work.
You see the brand new love shine. It's like that. Just pulled that out of my ass. Let's do it.
The anal sunshine.
The anal sunshine from Kiss. They covered that.
Do it.
You don't have to be beautiful to rule the world. I just need your body, baby. From the dusk till dawn. You don't need experience.
at full value. All right. That was a joy to witness. Ryan, you like that?
That was awesome.
Fucking
That
right.
was awesome.
Fucking right. You know, go out and see it.
Diddle City.
Yeah.
$5.
So where you guys play? Where you guys playing next? You know, where or do you have a regular gig? Where can people come out and
We're
experience you
playing
guys live?
this Saturday, so May 18th.
May 18th.
At the Chili Pepper in St. Catharines.
Yes, that is right at the corner of. It's right there.
It's there.
Yeah, right on.
We got a
St. Paul and
Oh.
I forget which. I used to. Yeah, back in the day, it still is a really kick-ass bar, but. Yeah, we're going to see that. And anyone else listening, I'm putting a benefit on for a friend of mine at Cat's Caboose in St. Catharines on June 6th. A friend of mine got a house fire and they lost all their content. So Burn Ethel's going down and they're going to bust the St. Catharines scene. Check it out. And
We playing another CD track?
yeah, we're playing.
Okay.
We're going to finish with Bennie because we're going to talk about Sir Elton John and
Okay.
what
I just didn't know what the
kick-ass-
timeline was there.
Yeah, no, the timeline is when the show ends. You know that. It's like baseball. There's no clock. There's no clock. It's when it runs out of steam and the balloon kind of lands.
Okay.
We need more coal.
Coke, no. All right. So you're playing at the Red Hot Chili Pepper on
18th.
Saturday,
When's the next
Saturday
Hamilton
night.
Then
game?
we're at the Flamingo on the 22nd. The
Flamingo
following
on
Wednesday.
the following Wednesday. And Wednesday, you're there fairly regular on Wednesdays.
Every other bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly.
Yeah.
So put it on your calendar right now.
Bi-weekly.
We'll give you 30 seconds. Locate your calendar. Look at the 18th, and if you're listening to it tomorrow, it doesn't matter. You can use that as a reference point, and every 2 weeks put an X. Okay, go down to Flamingo, check these guys out. Well worth the time, and it's nice to support someone on Hess Street who still supports live music. And
Yeah, it's just the Flamingo, really.
That's it.
that's it.
That's
And
it.
the doors.
But that's not like,
really has like.
yeah, it's not where the sign is.
But we'll have links to your site, and if you want to book this band, like I said, it's for corporate gigs or private parties. If you want to have a night of awesome music, played with a lot of skill and passion, these are your guys, and it's so easy to be modeling, in this business, and to do it the way you guys do it. There's joy there, and I can definitely feel it. So tell me about the last two we're going to play off the CD. Was it also recorded at the same?
Yeah, it was all just recorded in this 1 week.
Off the floor.
We wake up at like 7 o'clock every morning. Start tracking at 8. And then you'd have an hour break, and you'd go track. It was 8 till 3 every
It wasn't
day.
like a normal studio.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it was like old
It was like work,
times when
right? Yeah, it was like going to work, but at the same time, was this a song that you had been playing in your set you were comfortable with?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it was just a matter of putting it down in the fashion that
And it features Money Monson on the bass guitar.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
money.
I try to play the bass on that song.
But you know what? Obviously, it's still on there, right? It didn't get hacked, it didn't get replaced.
I don't know. Pete hung around after.
It could have been, yeah.
I was
They
wondering
took you
why
out
you
for
said
a-
that so
they
good.
took-
smoke,
they
and
took
then
out
I
for
came
a
back and I
smoke,
was
and
like,
before
why
you
are you
know,
holding the bass? And it
oh,
wasn't all mic'd up
no,
and
you
shit.
sound a lot better all of a sudden.
For sure.
So the song itself, I said it's one that I loved. Elton John was Captain Fantastic and the first bunch of albums came along. I still have them. They're in my stack of vinyl. I won't get rid of them. I think that that combination and that it's the sort of thing that you don't hear Elton John being done. And to do it, was it just natural to you, or you're like, do you think we can do this?
Elton John's actually he was him and Bernie Taupin were everything to me with Paul Simon in high school. It's funny how you mentioned Captain Fantastic. I feel like I didn't know that was a super well-known album.
I know that record, man.
Yeah, I really
Brown
like
Dirt Cowboys, right?
yeah.
Yeah, Brown Dirt Cowboys.
What's the one? Blind Man Say Feels
I like
Rain
the title.
Today.
I know the title track, the Captain Fantastic Brown Dirt Cowboys.
Yeah,
Like
that kind of busts his cherry where the people were like, oh, and then of course the next one he lived up to it, the hype.
Yeah.
But Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboys, I think, was the one that really, You know, again, very mercurial from the point where he was hit and he was like noticed to the time he was selling millions of records. Because remember, back then, guys were doing 2 albums a year, you know, or an album a year. It was pretty, it was steady Eddie.
He was pretty heavy by Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, and that was before Captain Fantastic. Yeah. That was a huge one for him. That had all the hits.
But as far as playing it live,
Yeah, like, I don't really know.
Keys. It's like I find it hard as a guitar player to songs that were obviously written on piano are not necessarily easy to play. You know,
It's kind of
in a live situation,
child.
right?
The missing
So
member.
how did you approach it? You know,
He approached it pretty much, you know, and he's not here to speak for himself, but it was his like
Idea.
creative thinking to do a heavy version of Bennie.
Yeah.
And then we all sort of tagged along, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that was it. I can't really remember.
You guys played it with Magnetic Love, I'm pretty
I
sure.
sang it with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Because
have that on
Petey
video,
didn't want to
actually,
sing
yeah.
it.
Well,
But he must have sang it a couple times, right?
I don't know.
I don't think he did. I think the first time you played it,
Yeah.
Was it at the Casbah? I was
So
there.
we called Josh up on stage. That was it, and then we're
That's
just
right.
like, "Oh, we already know this song."
It wasn't
so
at the
let's do
Casbah.
it.
Did
The
you
first
know?
time
Did
we
you know
played it
Josh
was,
knew it at this point?
Insane.
Like, oh yeah, because you played with him.
Well, no, I just
You
assumed that
assumed he
would
knew
know
it.
well, at that time, we were about to start being in like a cover band, and
that was before we even played, right?
they were in Magnetic Love, and I just like was hanging around.
So this song has got kind of like extra significance as far as the genesis of this band goes.
I guess it does. I guess
Because that was
it's
the
like
first time
one.
I ever played with at least you and Pete.
I guess it's like the one that sort of like has been our staple.
Yeah. for
Everyone
sure,
says
yeah,
is their
that's it,
favorite
yeah.
all the
Yeah,
time.
and it's that good as far as being able to do it, like you said, and have the opportunity to introduce a new generation to not only a great song, but you guys as well, because the translation is everything, and it's heavy but it's soulful. It's very respectful, but it's unique, and we're gonna hear it, aren't we, Ryan?
Yep.
Let's hear some Bennie and the Jets from Sebastian Paige and the Virginia Wolves on barbershoppodcast.com.
Hey kids, shaking loose together. The spotlight's in something that's been known to change the weather. We'll kill the fatted calf tonight, so stick around. You gotta hear electric music, solid walls of sound. Say candy and Ronnie, have you seen 'em yet? They're so spaced out. Bennie and the Jets. Oh, they're weird and they're wonderful. Oh, man, they changed the red keen. She's got electric boats, a Mohead suit. You know her red arm in our magazine. Bennie and the Jets. Hey kids, plug into the faithless. Maybe they're timeless, but Bennie makes them ageless. We shall survive, let us take ourselves along. We'll find our parents out in the street to find who's right and who's wrong. Oh, Johnny and Ronnie, have you seen them yet? The soul spaced out. Bennie and the Jets. Oh, they're weird and they're wonderful. Oh, fire, they change the red keen. She's got a
sensation. Very good. Nice. Finish it. You guys, don't tell me you're not fans of the big ending. Come on. Every single fucking song has got a great finish. And speaking of a great finish, we're at the end of our show. Segway King 2013. That's me, Kevin Barber, host of the Barbershop Podcast. Thanks for coming out. Thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for coming and touching us with your music and your stories. And I hope everyone has an opportunity to spread the word, go experience live music. And it's good for the heart. It's good for the soul. Thanks for coming out. And hope to see you next week. It'll be as good as it always is.
Who's in next week?
Fuck, I don't remember.
Bird and Ethel. Bird and Ethel next week.
No, that's the 22nd.
Is that not? Who's in next week? Well, I really ruined that then, didn't I?
Yeah, maybe it is Steve.
Check our web. Don't be lazy. Go check our webpage.
Check our webpage.
It's on our fucking webpage.
Yeah, like we can afford to be lazy. We're fucking busy. All right, stuff to do. Anyway, thanks for coming out, guys.
Cheers.
That like had never